Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Elvis.
And this is the Wheeler Dealers Workshop. Currently we're making Wheeler Dealers Dream Car. You may hear some noise in the background, that's the crew setting the scene for us for our work this afternoon. But we're delighted to be on Mike Brewer Motoring website, and we got some answers to your questions. So Wheeler Dealers back in the UK. I think it's been received really well, don't you?
I mean, I'm sure the weather's not as good for you, but actually everything else has gone really well. And I think what the feedback we're getting from you guys, from viewers, is just been amazing, really, isn't it? It's been great.
It has been phenomenal, yeah. I've not had a social media response like it online. Everyone seems to love the new series. They love the fact that it's in the UK. They clearly love Elvis in the workshop. And it's been a delight to be back in the UK and doing what we do best, featuring good cars in the wet and rain. Back fair, isn't it?
It's pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
I mean, more dreams coming true is what this show's all about. Dream Car is one of these shows which is literally more than about the car, isn't it? Because the cars obviously feature in this show, but I think what's really lying behind this is a great story, and we are quite literally changing people's lives here, aren't we?
Yeah, and we don't take that lightly, me and Elvis. You know, when we embarked on the second series of Dream Car, we wanted to really make a difference, and these people really do deserve our help, and they need our help, and that's played out in this series. As we've started to go through the series and hand these Dream Cars over, we've seen some really emotional endings to the programme where you physically can see we've actually changed somebody's life. And we're really excited to be bringing the new series to you very, very soon.
Been a lot of tears, and that's just you and me.
So Wheeler Dealers has always been about saving the car. You know, if we do make a profit at the end of it, that's great. It's always handy. But for me and Elvis, we're just supercar fans, and we want to see these cars restored and put back on the road for people to enjoy. With Wheeler Dealers Dream Car, the pressure on me and Elvis is completely different. We do literally have to make a profit at every turn, and if we don't, we're going to fail. And we've got some builds coming up. There is a build, a monumental build, for a guy called Scott. He wants one of the most expensive cars out there. It's a Type 2 camper, and he wants a Westphalia, and we can't afford to buy one. So Elvis come up with this idea. The only way we could do it is if he buys a scrappy van to begin with. I go out there trading, and every time I earn some money, send the money back to him so he can buy a bit more work on the van.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant project, which I've loved every second of, and the end result you'll see when you see the show is unbelievable. Probably the best car we've ever done, I think. But I think, like Mike says, what we're doing in this show right early on at the beginning of the episode is buying into the person's story. You know, their story that lies behind the car, why they want it and what it's going to do for their life is the thing that motivates us all the way through this. So it's a very different experience, but I think hopefully one you guys are going to love.
So there's been lots of high points in season 2 of Wheeler Dealers Dream Car. One that springs to mind is a young man who wants not only a tasty sports car, he's asked me and Elvis to get probably one of the most difficult tasty sports car, because he wants a BMW Z4, but he's asked us to get him a Gen 2. And that may seem like you can just, you know, flick your fingers and there one magically appears. But when we was doing this at the back end of summer, they were few and far between. They were very difficult to get. And me and Elvis, we actually struggled to trade up to the car he wanted, and he needed our help. He was a carpenter. Well, unfortunately it was in a fire. He was laid off of work, he was injured, and he'd spent all his money on his dream car. He had a Z4, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he spent his money on it, and he unfortunately had to sell it to survive, and that's where we stepped in. It's also one of our biggest disasters, actually, because it was a big triumph, but a big disaster, I don't even want to say it, was the car that I gave Elvis to begin with, which was his trading car. It was the Volkswagen Passat.
Possibly the worst car you've ever turned up here at the workshop.
I'm so sorry. Honestly, we needed tetanus injections just to just to stare at the thing. So that was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But you know what we ended up with there? I don't know how you found such a good version of the Z4, because it was amazing, and his face when we showed it to him was, unbelievable. Another highlight for me was the VW Camper that you mentioned, a great car, loved that, close to my own heart. But another one that was really close to my heart was the Caterham 7. Remember that?
That was amazing, yeah. So this is for a father and son duo, and the father has got a debilitating illness that means he won't be able to actually drive a Caterham in a couple of years. So this is his last hurrah, and there was a lot of emotion there, wasn't there?
There was, but it was a huge emotional response to it, which is exactly what the show's all about. But the journey of getting to the Caterham was just brilliant as well, and that particular car was the car that I started my own motoring journey with. It was the first job I ever had, was building those things. So it was really nice to get back behind the wheel of one, and to hand it over in the end was just a brilliant moment. What have we learned about each other?
Quite farty.
I mean, we are coming up for a big anniversary, aren't we?
We
So
are,
should
3
be
years, 3 years together.
planning like a dinner and some
We
flowers
should,
or
yeah.
something.
Dinner and flowers be good, wouldn't they? 3 years together. What have we learned about each other? Commitment, loyalty, hard work, tenacity.
Stop talking about yourself.
Yeah, that's just me. And ambition. And that's the one thing that I've got from Elvis. We are pushing each other's buttons every day. We're literally pushing each other every day to do things bigger, better, bolder, braver. And we're doing two different projects, Wheeler Dealer Dream Car and Wheeler Dealers. And they may seem similar, but they're two different animals. And for me, I'm pushing him into areas where he may not be comfortable, fabrication, trimming, welding, skills that are, they don't just happen. And for Elvis, he's pushing me into even more wild trades and more gambles and more risks to take if we're ever going to, get a dream car, or we're ever going to do Wheeler Dealers properly. So that's what I've learned about him.
Yeah, and I have never met anyone who works harder. That's the first thing I would say about you. You never stop, you never switch off, there's no off button, which is brilliant because it motivates me. And look, there are times in these journeys, I think particularly with Dream Car, because some of the missions are so ambitious that we both struggle at times. We both at times feel like we might not make it, and then it takes one or the other of us to just give the other one a bit of an arm around the shoulder or a bit of a kick up the backside and just say, come on, we can do it. And we've done that a lot.
We've had to. We've had no choice. There have been some low moments in terms of, where you are. When you promise somebody a dream and you feel like you're going to fail in delivering that dream, you have to find energy from somewhere, and we're finding it from each other, and it's really good. The relationship is strong, it's brilliant, and I think we can already possibly tell you exclusively maybe that the relationship is going to continue for another big dramatic series.
We're going to take it to the next level.
We are going to take it to the next level. Yeah, we're going to go full space. We have employed some weird tricks this time around to get cars sold. The biggest trick for me is actually letting Elvis actually go out there and buy and sell some stuff, and that's been really refreshing. And for Elvis, he's allowed me to use the workshop, and I've done some work in the workshop, almost swap roles in certain places.
True, actually,
and that's the first time, and that's the biggest trick we've done. But I suppose the weirdest trick that we did is there was a lovely moment where I'm educating the audience that an onion, and it's true, an onion can deodorise a car.
That was a new one on me.
So an onion can consume so much oxygen that it actually sucks the smells out of the car, and then the onion actually deodorises itself.
Yeah.
It's so efficient at doing it. So if you've ever got a musty or a smelly car, cut an onion in half, stick it in the car, leave it overnight. It will make it smell fresh in the morning, believe it or not.
And I feel like I've spent so much time now around you buying and selling cars that there was a moment, in fact that Caterham 7 that we talked about, I went and bought that.
Yes, so that was him.
I had to bring in the best bargaining skills, which have all been picked up from you. So listen, we are exchanging skill sets, aren't we?
We are, and they are the biggest sort of tips that we can give you, that we are sort of swapping roles. Your dream car be?
For me, it's always been an early Porsche. So I think any of the sort of 70s Porsches, really love the 911, the old shape, It's always been a dream. It's been the poster that I had on my wall as a kid, and still love one today, so it hasn't really changed.
So basically, I got his dream car.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And my dream car I own, it's a 1964 Mini Cooper S called Frankie, and it's a little pleasure not only to stare at, to be in, and to be around. It's funny, I thought you were going to say a Caterham.
Well, that's up there as well, and you know the fact that we got to drive one on this show
makes you want one.
Well, it did, and the truth is, I am thinking very seriously about getting hold of one at some point.
But Mrs. P wants a new kitchen first.
We'll get there.
What, to the kitchen after the
probably,
catering? Yeah. Catering first, kitchen off.
I've actually been behind the wheel of my dream car, of those old early Porsches.
Really?
Yeah.
What you need
anyone that's got one?
What you need is I'll see if I can find somebody for you. Don't drive one of mine. No, you can have
How is that relationship?
yeah, you can have one of mine anytime you like. That'd be a bonus for you at the end of all of this when we get it done.
Can you just cut that clip up and give it to me? Yeah, he said I can have one of his.
You
cars
can absolutely 100% have them whenever you like.
You're after some top secret information.
Well,
what cars are we after for the new series of Wheeler Dealers?
This is a good one, okay? This is a really good one. So, me and Elvis realised that we've got the difficult second album coming up because our first album smashed it out of the park.
Yeah.
It really did with the choice of cars. The Mini, the Land Rover, the Mitsubishi Evo, the Fiat Coupe, the TVR. That was a very, very strong bunch of cars. So me and Elvis have been thinking long and hard how our difficult second album can actually be better than the first one.
Yeah.
And I feel that we found some cars that are going to just blow people away.
It's really, really exciting because only recently, really, we've been having these discussions. We've been nailing down the cars that we're going to do. We're just about to embark on the next season, so we're finalising the cars and the jobs, and there are some really exciting ones. Maybe a little hint. We have never really embarked on doing something as serious and as big as a supercar before, but we're going to do that.
Yes, we're going to do a supercar. We're going to take an existing, what I consider a supercar, and improve it. No ends. That's a different story. We've also got the car that never was. So we've looked at what manufacturers have done in the past and some of the cars that they may have missed. And we found a car that most definitely a manufacturer missed back in the day, so much so they're making a modern version of it today. Yeah. And we've decided to make the version they should have done back in the 90s. So I'm very, very excited about that one.
You're going to love that. And I think one other that I would really pick out as a highlight is we are moving towards an age where we're starting to change the type of car that's on the road. We're inevitably moving towards a more sustainable future with EVs and that kind of thing. But I think we all love a good old noisy, gas-guzzling, loud, powerful V8, and at some point in this series we will be celebrating exactly that.
Yes, we're very excited about the new series of Wheeler Dealers, and we can't wait to bring it to you. We're kind of excited already by what we're doing every day. We turn up to work, big smiles on our faces, going, we're getting paid to do this. It's pretty cool.
It's great, yeah, loving it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Make sure you look out for us soon. When is it on?
Yes, brand new series of Wheeler Dealers Dream Car starts on the Discovery Channel, 21st of March. Keep an eye out.
And you'll be able to download it on the Discovery Plus UK app as well. So make sure you subscribe to that, and you can catch up with all our past series as well.
When you wish upon a car, but your cash won't go that far, Mike and Elvis raise the bar and search for you.
How much did you want for it?
They work like pixies through the days, minor fixes, major trades. Done. So when you wish upon a car, your dreams come true.
This is your dream car.
Brand new Wheeler Dealers Dream Car starts Monday the 21st of March on Discovery, and stream previous series now on Discovery Plus.